He got the perfect revenge on the most entitled mother he'd ever met, and she had to dig through trash to learn her lesson. Our storyteller was a young shift manager at a fast food joint, just trying to survive the daily chaos of the lunch rush. But one afternoon, a family walked in that would test every last nerve he had. It was a mother and her 3 children, and as they unleashed a storm of disrespect on his restaurant, he saw his chance to teach them a lesson they would never, ever forget. He was working at a McDonald's in the UK. If you've ever worked in food service, you know the drill. It's a constant grind of beeping fryers, sticky floors, and the endless murmur of customer orders. He'd seen it all, but this family was different. The mother looked detached, and her 3 kids, probably between 8 and 13, were running absolute riot. They were screaming, chasing each other between tables, and generally treating the dining room like their own personal playground. It was annoying, sure, but he let it slide. It's a family place, after all. Kids will be kids, or so he thought. The real problem started when they left. A young woman who was in charge of keeping the dining area clean came up to his counter. She looked exhausted and more than a little angry. She sighed and said, "You might want to get someone to cover my section. This is going to take a while." He was confused. A messy table is one thing, but her tone suggested something else entirely. Something worse. He told her not to worry, that he'd take care of it himself. He felt bad for her, and honestly, he was curious. He walked over to the table they had just vacated, and his jaw nearly hit the floor. It was a war zone. The entire table was a sea of half-eaten food, empty boxes, and shredded napkins. But that wasn't the worst of it. That was just standard messiness. No, this was deliberate. This was malicious. The children had taken packets of ketchup and smeared the sauce all over the seats. All over the wall. You could see their little handprints streak through the red goo where they'd tried to write things. It was disgusting. And then he looked under the table. They had chewed up their fries, spat the mushy potato into their hands, and stuck it to the underside of the surface like some kind of grotesque art project. And here's the part that will make your blood boil. The mother had been sitting right there. She had watched them do all of this. She watched her children vandalize the restaurant, and she didn't say a single word. She just let them. Then she got up and walked out, leaving this monument to her terrible parenting for someone else to clean up. He felt a surge of pure, unfiltered rage. The disrespect was staggering. He grabbed a bin bag, ready to scrape the entire disaster into the trash where it belonged. But then, as he began to sweep the mess away, he saw it. Right there, in the middle of the sticky, greasy chaos, was a small purse. And lying next to it? 4 cinema tickets. And in that moment, a beautiful, terrible idea began to form in his mind. He could have been the better person. He could have picked up the purse, set it aside, and waited for her to come back. He could have cleaned up the mess with a grumble and moved on with his day. But where's the justice in that? What lesson would that teach? He looked at the ketchup-smeared wall, at the chewed-up food under the table, and he knew what he had to do. He didn't hesitate. He took his arm and swept the entire contents of the table into the bin bag. The empty sauce packets, the half-eaten burgers, the shredded Happy Meal boxes, and of course, the purse and the 4 cinema tickets. It all went in. One big, disgusting pile of karmic justice. But he wasn't done yet. Oh no. To really sell it, he took the bag back to the kitchen. He found one of the food waste bins, the ones filled with old grease, discarded food scraps, and all the other foul-smelling things from the back of a kitchen, and he dumped its contents right on top. He wanted that bag to be as unappealing, as truly revolting, as humanly possible. He tied it up, took it out the back door to the dumpster area, and subtly marked it with a small tear so he'd know exactly which one it was. Then, he waited. The restaurant started to quiet down as the lunch rush ended. He went about his duties, managing the staff, checking inventory, but a part of his mind was on that bin bag out back. He was counting the minutes. 30 minutes passed, then 40. Just as he was starting to wonder if she'd just cut her